Welcome everyone to the Dubious Art Review with Justin, also known as Dubious Challenger, and Jordan, also known as Is It Fox, and we're here to figure out one thing about your favorite Magic the Gathering art. Is it dubious? And so I've got Jordan here,
Hello.
and I'm Justin, and for our first episode, we're kind of trying to polish out our details here on how we're doing everything. So we're going to start out with reviewing all the art of one card, and that card this week is going to be Mana Drain.
We want to start with something iconic.
It's a very iconic card. The card was first printed in Legends and has seen roughly 3 paper printings. Yep, 3 paper printings and 3 online printings with 3 different arts. So we're just going to run through kind of lightheartedly because neither of us are art experts.
We can pretend, but really, this just in case anyone wants to get upset about us reviewing these, we're talking crap. We love the art, except for when it's bad.
Yeah. And also, these are our opinions. Obviously, you can voice your opinions down in the comments below, and we will gladly read them. Just keep them...
Give me that salt.
Keep them constructive a little bit, you know? Quit calling me stupid for not knowing art. So, I guess we will start off with the original.
Printed in Legends.
Yep, printed in Legends, drawn by the famous Mark Teeden. I think that's how it's pronounced. Let's see, he's also drawn like Emrakul, Aeon's Torn, quite a few other things, Chaos Orb. I actually have a signed Chaos Confetti by him.
That's awesome.
I have a good question for you here, Jordan. What is this?
So I have a theory on the original Mana Drain art, actually. I think what is going on is that this is some sort of a brain or sea slug brain-like creature.
Is it a cephalid?
And what it's doing... Yeah, it's some sort of cephalid, or maybe something like that. But it's some sort of magical sea creature. And it is draining the mana from the island. I think that's what this is supposed to be. Only the artist Mark Teeden, I got that right? Mark Teeden?
I think it's Teeden.
Yeah, only Mark Teeden could tell us for sure what his intent was. I'd love to... I wonder if he's done an interview on it. So I would love to know from the artist what the intent here was, because I don't think I've ever met anyone who knows what exactly is going on in this image.
Yeah.
It looks great, obviously. Like, it's well painted, but it's odd. What do you think, Justin?
Let's see. How do I describe it? So, a thing you're going to notice with me throughout this series is I don't really like the older art that much. I just don't like the painted look. It fit the earlier look, but now that it's gotten more modern and like new borders and everything and digital art has become popular, I've sort of looked at the older art and been like, it's good, but it's just not my thing. So it's a little boring. I see the sun on the water there. I don't know what that thing on the left is. Like a clamshell or something? Or is that like a love disc from Pokemon?
Maybe it's another cephalid thing. I really like the original Mana Drain art personally, but...
So, yeah, this definitely isn't my favorite. I'll go on why one of the later ones is my favorite, personally, but this one, I like to understand the art so that at least I can kind of... What's the word I'm looking for here? Like, I just don't understand it, so, like, what am I doing when I play this? Like, you can't...
You need something to grab onto.
Yeah, you can't immerse yourself in this at all. Just like, here's this little, like, party sausage.
But Justin, you can immerse yourself because you're underwater.
You know, I'm not even going to get mad at that one. You got this little party sausage that you got the little toothpicks for. Just kind of eating the ground underwater. And I don't see anything else here.
Before we move on to the next one, I do want to point out a couple things that I really like with this piece.
Go for it.
And these are artistic things that I just like the way they look. The art underwater is really, really hard. Water in general is really, really hard.
It's actually pretty soft.
And I think, yeah.
You don't die when you fall in it in Minecraft. It's pretty soft.
I mean, surface tension would like to argue with you on that, but
Minecraft.
But it's really hard to... I'm not an artist. I don't draw that often, but I do know that it's pretty hard to actually do art underwater well. And some of the little touches he does here are really, really cool. I love the way the light is coming through the water. I love the little bubbles that he adds and the seafloor and how it's slanted. Like it almost looks sometimes like it's a shoreline, but also underwater. It's really interesting to look at. That's why I like this art, even though it's kind of incomprehensible.
Kinda.
Kinda. I'm gonna say kinda.
Like, I see where he's getting the drain from, but the drain is like 2% of the art, and it's like away from the action of the card.
If I meet Mark Taden at a GP, Magic Fest. If I meet him at a Magic Fest, I will definitely have to ask him about this piece and ask him what directions did he have? I want to know.
If he had directions.
All right, you want to move on to the next one then?
Yeah, let's move on to the next one. Let's see here. It's originally from Vintage Masters. It was also printed as a Judge promo in 2016 by Mike Bierick, I think. Bierick?
Bierick, I think.
Bierick?
Bierick?
Okay. Let's go with Mike Bierick. Let's see here. We got, I thought that was Jace initially. I don't think that's Jace, now that I look at the close-up of it.
I think it's just a random blue mage because he has a staff, and Jace never has a staff. Yeah. Also, he doesn't have like the tattoos,
and he doesn't have anime hair.
Yeah, it's true.
Kind of just looks like a normal alien from like Scary Movie. But this art I actually love. It's again not my favorite Mana Drain art, but I absolutely love the look of this.
Yeah, I love this art as well. A lot of blue counterspell art tends to do this like blue force field type of thing, which I'm not the biggest fan of sometimes. Sometimes it looks really good, but I prefer, because what blue wizards are doing when they counterspell something a lot of the time is they're like using telekinesis to push it, and the disdain for this like ray of light that's hitting him is awesome, and how it's scattering, and then he's got the power from it in his hand, shows what the card does in a very thematic way. The colors look fantastic. I also kind of like that it's not really set in a traditional background. It's kind of like in this ephemeral plane, almost like we're in the Blind Eternities.
Oh, yeah.
And also his staff is just kind of held down to the side like, whatever.
Yeah. I'm not going to lie. I saw his, like, what would you call it? His cloak or whatever. I saw that to the right there, and I thought that was a mountain range. I thought it was just a really dark scene.
He could almost be in the clouds above a mountain range with the background. But yeah, that definitely is his cloak there, I think.
Yeah, it just kind of looked like a little mountain range there. But yeah, I like the details in this one. The beam of whatever that is, like sun or fire, whatever it is, just looks fantastic. Like bouncing off of him, going towards him, all that. I don't know, I guess the blue energy in his left hand there is just like conjuring up the energy that he's getting hit by or something. I guess that would make the point.
Yeah, it's the drain part of it.
Yeah, that would make sense. Yeah, I honestly just love this art. It flows really well. Doing one thing that, it's something I learned in photography, is he's not doing the rule of thirds thing that well, but it's also kind of hard to do the rule of thirds with something like this. You're either not giving enough attention to the beam, or you're giving too much attention, or you're not giving enough attention to the guy, and you might not be able to see his hand if you do that. So I kind of understand that, but it's almost a little too centered.
I think the artist did that because they wanted this clear divide between the light side where the energy was and the right side where it's drained and it's dark.
Yeah.
One thing I really wish there was a companion piece to this. You know how they did like Wizard's Lightning and Wizard's Retort? I would love to see the other side of this.
Yeah, you want to see the person who's shooting whatever this is.
An actual sunbeam, like an energy ray out of their hands.
Mm-hmm. So yeah, I would definitely take a copy of this if they weren't extremely expensive. Roughly $142, getting one of them.
Oh my gosh. An Iconic Masters one even is, spoilers for what we're looking at next. An Iconic Masters one is even $80.
Yeah, it's kind of ridiculous, but it's a good card for a reason. But we're not here for what the card does, we're here for what the card looks like.
Yeah. And should we move on to the next one?
Looks like we should finish off the trifecta here with the Iconic Masters version drawn by my personal favorite artist, Raymond Swanlin. And let's see here, what do you got on this one?
I like Raymond Swanlin's art in general. With this one, I'm torn, because I kind of wish I could see the mage that is doing this, because I think the intent is that this is kind of like the last one, where someone is using this spell that is a gigantic whirlpool of water that is draining the energy from this other spell or this other like phenomenon. However, I kind of wish that we could see the person using it, But at the same time, I kind of liked that because it kind of flies in the face of a lot of what Magic cards usually do with their art. So that kind of is cool to me. It's a little bit different. And it's just pretty to look at. Like a playmat with this on it is just, it's perfect.
Yeah, no kidding. Yeah, I like the little imperfections. Like I said, he's my favorite artist, so I've looked deep into a lot of his art, and there's almost like these little imperfections in his art that make it look so much better. We might talk about some of his art later on, but if you ever look at his art, look at it really closely. Like find a high resolution one and look at it really close, and there's lots of just little random brushstrokes that just look like imperfections, but they blend so well. And that's what you're kind of getting here.
Yeah.
Like, I love the color changes midway through it, like right there in the bottom, like rightish, like bottom middle to right, where it's just a little bit of red there. It kind of makes it all swirl together. All the, from the bottom left to the center there, that beautiful red to black to blue. Ah, so nice. And then something I never noticed is that little lens flare in the bottom left as well. It's kind of weird.
Yeah, I was actually about to mention that. I wonder why there's a lens flare on it, because he painted this, because he paints this all of his pieces.
Yeah, I think he might do painting to digital art. I'm not completely sure. I think he kind of fluctuates.
I'd really like to know how he added the bloom effect, because yeah, he's got this lens flare, this bloom on the left side of it, the left corner, and I want to know how that got there. Also, I want to point out in the center of this whirlwind, this maelstrom, right? The sun in the center of it.
And the little beam, it's kind of
Yeah, the little beam coming off of it. I think that's why, is that it's almost like he's got the lens flare there, almost to show that if this was like a camera taking a shot of this, that's causing the lens flare.
That's what I'm saying. Is this confirming cameras in MTG? In Magic
Maybe
lore?
Yeah, maybe this isn't even a mage doing this. It's just a picture of like a magical phenomena.
Master of the Pearl Trident. It's like, I got my camera ready for this one. I've been waiting for this my entire life.
Oh my gosh.
And he snaps his beauty.
That Master of the Pearl Trident in particular went on to win a Pulitzer for that photo.
Exactly. He was in that year's, what is it, Spectrum magazine? Is that what it's called?
Exactly.
Yeah, after getting that Pulitzer, it's going to be slapped into Spectrum as well. You know, that Master of the Pearl Trident's going to be way more than just a leader of his deck.
He's an artist.
It truly is. I do like how weird that is, but I will never say an art by Raymond Swanlow is bad just because he's the reason I took graphic design in college and all that stuff, so he's kind of like an inspiration to me. Yeah, and just to cap it all off here, I don't know if you're seeing this or not, but there's almost this perfect golden ratio in there, like exactly how you would see it in a textbook, from right there in the bottom right all the way to the bottom of that spiral.
Yeah, I see what you're saying, yeah.
It's kind of cool.
All of these arts are very cool.
So after that beautiful art there, we know that every single art in Magic is beautiful until proven dubious. Now, is any of this art dubious?
I think that maybe the concept behind the original Madrain is a little bit dubious, but the art itself is not. The other two definitely just nailed it. Like, it's a really weird concept to capture in art of power being drained from something and transferred into something else. So I think all of them did a really good job. And there's a reason why Madrain is iconic, is because it is so odd that, and it looks so good, even though it's so odd that I don't think any of these would really count as dubious.
So again, on my little tangent there of how I feel about older art, I would kind of give the first one a little bit of dubious in there, but not too much. Because for all those people who don't know what the word dubious means, I'll read the dictionary definition right now of hesitating or doubting. And I'm kind of doubting what this art is.
That's fair.
What am I looking at here? I would give it like, I'd say 4 dubiouses out of 10. So it's somewhat dubious, but not completely.
All right, yeah. I don't know that I'm going to go with a rating system, but
I'm just going to go with a rating system on this one just because it's so abstract. Like, it's impossible to tell you that it's not dubious, but it also is dubious.
It's a brain slug on the floor that's eating up mana.
It's a party sausage sucking the ground. with a clam next to it or a love disc from Pokemon.
Something like that. Yeah, so just to run down, we got kind of dubious, definitely not dubious, and definitely not dubious.
The most undubious ever for Iconic Masters.
I mean, you're a little bit biased, but it is a beautiful piece of art.
Never been biased in my entire life.
Never.
So it looks like we're going to wrap this all up here. What are your guys' suggestions for different art we can look at? Try to keep it themed a little bit, like if there's a certain card that has multiple arts, that some are good, some aren't, or just kind of like mixing a character together, like going with the newest Teferi Time Raveler and Disruptive Student, which was him as a kid from an old set. Something fun like that, you know? Let's try to keep it a little bit themed here.
Mini Teferi and Mini Teferi.
So, Jordan, where can we find you out on the internet?
Well, you can watch me stream on occasion on twitch.tv/isitfox. I'm on Twitter at twitter.com/isitfox. Or you can follow my YouTube channel at isitfox.
And I am Justin. You can find me on Twitch and YouTube at Dubious_Challenger. And you can find me on Twitter at Dubious_Justin. And so we are Justin and Jordan from the Unbanned Podcast. You can also head over to our Patreon at patreon.com/unbannedcast if you wanted to pledge and maybe get some exclusive content that way. So as a final send-off here, don't just enjoy the game, enjoy the art put into the game, and we will see you guys later.
See ya.